Hello there, YouTube. This is Siddles and Bitz back at it again with another YouTube Daily. Today is the solo daily for December 4th, and today we will be playing Star Captain going from Garden's Edge to Derelict Starship and then up against Cinder. Again, Star Captain kind of struggling right now unless you go into like a drone build or like some sort of a crit hit build, and all those things take a lot of investment, which generally speaking isn't normally a problem in like normal ranked dives or whatever you want to call them. But in dailies, we kind of have to do well like right out the get-go, and it's a little hard for Star Captain to perform at that point. Frostbite can't be invested into anymore, well, to the extent that we could before, and even then it was like mid at best, but you could get some like incredible runs with Frostbite. Now, even if you get like the set, it's not great. So you usually rely on anything that can just scale overall damage instead of just relying on scaling Frostbite damage, which if you're scaling overall damage, then it doesn't matter that you're doing Frostbite at all. We have multiple treasure pots, so assuming we can find a way to kill them, we'll make a ton of money. Or at least we'll make a little bit more money if we can do sets of 25% of their health. They'll drop like some quillings. We also have the Death Scythe. I believe it's just called Reaper mod. Negative 35 max HP. Generally speaking, this just means that we have to survive until later into the game. Like, just don't die straight away. But the fact that healing pools only restore 3 HP means that also affects the one after the boss, and that means that we have to find a way to actually heal this HP. Otherwise, well, I mean, we're not going to make our HP objective, so it's a little bit tricky. I'm unsure if we actually have any means of healing as far as like Star Captain is concerned. Randomly gain frostbite damage. I mean, that'll help like 20% of the time. Garden's Edge is also kind of rough because Star Captain definitely suffers a bit against Nim. Like, the majority of our damage comes from hitting something with Cryoclasm, and it really doesn't do enough to, like, kill a boss. So we're going to need to figure that out with our other skills. Stuff like, well, Jinx, Incendiary, Grasp, all those usual single target solutions. Liar's Dice is interesting. Again, if we can somehow figure out a way to get Treasure Hunter, this time we could kind of get it by the end of Book 1, and it would still mean something. I don't know if I mentioned, but Treasure Hunter 5 specifically. Even Treasure Hunter 2 actually isn't so bad if there's 3 treasure pots. The problem is that we'd be using 2 of our vestige slots that would normally be giving us damage, and trying to find a way to kill multiple treasure pots on a character that already struggles to kill treasure pots. But otherwise, if this was almost any other class, I would think that this would actually be pretty good. Even if it was just to grab this, grind it as soon as possible, hopefully before the first set of treasure pots show up. And that's mainly because of the Icarus Pots mod. And so if we kill like 2 of them, then it's pretty much like this vestige on at all times that we get to permanently add to our character. And if we get like more of them, then obviously we could actually have 30 Omni damage or more. And if we somehow get up to 5, then that's a bonus. But for the most part, it would, I think at this point, Treasure Hunter is good. But again, we're using a slot that is supposed to give us damage like Stroke of Genius would. So, I mean, why like fish to maybe get 20 Omni damage when you can just get 15 magic damage? I don't know. Otherwise, what else could we possibly do? There's not really any good... Well, I mean, we could always go for, what is it? Decayed Binding, plus 50% more damage. Doesn't hit our Frostbite, which is like a large majority of our character's supposed damage. I don't think it hits our drones either. Like, they don't count as a attack binding. Sorry, they're technically a buff that does damage. So that makes things a little bit spooky. We could potentially do something with Rosy Thorn and just go tanky, but tankiness doesn't really work well against Cinder. Like, you're not going to really kill Cinder with a bunch of thorns. I mean, theoretically speaking, if you're tanky enough, then you could leave the Cinder Cultist alive, and then the Blazing Barrier would hit you. That counts as an enemy hitting you, so then you would reflect back at them. But you would need a lot of shielding, which we could theoretically get. You can put Mission Leader on an infinite, well, pseudo-infinite. You would still be capped by the amount of will that you have, but it would be weird because every other gives you shield. Otherwise, like, Verdant is obviously a way for us to gain HP that we are going to be losing or have already lost. I think maybe we're just going to take Stroke of Genius and save the money for later. Otherwise, like, even bonus will, like, might help us out. I think we're just going to take this. And if I could... I was going to say buff my auto, but that's not what I had in mind right there. More Frostbite to secondary targets. Like, if we actually hit things, which would require us to use Chalazer more often. Quicken Mission Leader is somewhat notable because that means that we can use it every turn or twice a turn if we pick up an orb, but it's currently not really doing anything for us because we don't want to spend 2 willpower to get 20 Omni damage and 2 shield. Like, that is absolutely garbage. If it was prepared, now we'd be talking, because then it'd be basically a 0 cost 2 shield, or the next turn you get 1 shield and then like 40 Omni damage, which I'm willing to spend for that, or not even spend. But so basically, I don't think that any of these are really helping us. The one main thing about Frosty Chalazer is that this does affect the secondary hit, whereas before, when this was a White Aug, it would only affect the primary target that you're hitting, and then your bounce shot wouldn't get a +1 Frostbite anyways. So this does allow us to put Frostbite on multiple things and then hopefully set it off again by attacking again. It's technically the best damage that we've got, but it doesn't do anything for like our single target, right? Because we're already going to be stacking Frostbite, already hitting it, proccing that. Like, none of this helps our single target at all. And that's concerning. Pretty concerning. Screw it. We're going to go ahead and re-roll this. Offensive mode grants frostbite damage. That is honestly something. As much as I would hate to have this, because you're not always going to be in offensive mode. Sometimes you're going to have to switch either to get a drone or otherwise. Having to be in offensive mode to deal +15 damage at a delay. Like, granted, it's a little bit more than +15 damage, but I almost feel better about just having Potent Chalazer. Like, why make your Frostbite deal +15 damage when you can just deal +15 damage? Because, like, Chalazer's kind of garbage and you'd prefer to use other skills. That's why. Yeah, this is just... it's a mess. We're going to take Frosty Leader and hope that that's the right move. I'm going to take more Tarnished Vaults here. I don't think money is going to solve us being a bad character right now. We need effects. That's kind of interesting. Is that actually the right move, though? Cryoclasm. That's what it took. That's what it took. Honestly, wouldn't mind going Alchemist here. I don't think that it's, like, air quotes, great for us, but it's a solution that can give us potions, which, I don't know, they give us a boost. It's kind of random until you actually get the, what is it? We need 6? No, 4 to gain a potion every combat. 6 would be preferred. But then, of course, you gotta actually find... God, what is it? Either the Alchemist Tool Belt, which really just gives you some roids whenever you use a potion. It's plus 70 Omni damage. Notable. Scattered Samples would basically carry that build. Plus 2 will. When you're using something like, say, Unstable, stuff like that. God, I really don't want to take Future Will. Like, I'm almost throwing runs just because I don't want to take that. I don't think that Will Collector is that much better, but I don't know. I might be willing to take it. Get us out of this mess, especially if I can get another one. Or we could reroll for another Scattered Samples. That'd be kind of cute. Let's try and do that. A Cloak of the Conspirator. Now we got some stuff. Poison Thorn, Rosy Thorn. Another Liar's Dice. Do we have a grinder up here? We do not. What do we got here? Cone of Frost. That's really not doing it for me, but we already used our, like, glyph. That can give us more frostbite damage as a purple. It can give us attack binding multiplier versus enemies that have, you know, that kind of stuff on them. It can ascend into Flash Freeze, which might actually be our single target solution. This is really cursed. Come on, man. I'm not sure that Cloak of the Conspirator is actually going to do much of anything for us. We'll reroll this again. Okay. Okay. I was going to take a second Scattered Samples, but yeah, I'll take an Alchemist Tool Belt. And this isn't going to do much for us right now, assuming that we don't find a potion here. Binding Empowerments have a higher likelihood of getting potions. I don't know if that's technically true, but that's simply, like, I don't want to call it my bias, but it's what I've noticed. Of course, no potions. Reduce a cooldown. Now, Starwalker will basically reduce the cooldown of our mission leader for us. If we can get a second one. Otherwise, at this point, do we really just reduce Cryoclasm so that we get it every single turn? Could then drop the cost by 1. See, it's not too fantastic is the problem. But neither is +1 frostbite here. Like, that doesn't do anything for us. So we might as well take the quickened cryoclasm. And go ahead, give me more items. So if we can somehow get past this, don't spawn the treasure pots. Thank you. Then we're going to have a potion for next time, which is going to give us a huge turn. Why? It's kind of upsetting. I legitimately don't know how I'm supposed to be dealing damage right now. Let's get that frostbite damage up. And then just chain between you guys, I guess. We're going to take 7 damage. Not much that we can do about that. Like, the fact that we just barely missed that is so suffer. We're gonna take even more damage. Another turn. I thought that I muted Discord, but apparently I didn't because Discord doesn't listen to me at all. Apologies for that. I'm almost about to take this Quill Charm. It's gonna cause us to lose a lot of points, but at least it's going to... I don't know. I don't even freaking know, man. Well, there's Stone Blossom. That's a verdant. We've been passing by a lot of verdant here. We could take this Brace Belt and then this Quill Charm. Give us Shadow. It basically just bops our shield each turn, but we get 30% damage out of it. Otherwise, we could go into this Everfrost here, which just gives us binding attack damage, but none of our skills actually deal any damage worth using. Hoy. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Quill Charm. Honestly, just take me here. This will cause us to bleed over in damage, but unfortunately also gives us some actual damage. So we're going to take damage after the first turn. There's really not much that we can do about that. However, we're going to have to deal with it. We're probably going to grind this Brace Belt, and then we're fine. Oh, that was a 50% chance of dropping a potion, because we're not at 4 yet. Of course. God, we're just in a mess. And I legitimately don't know how we're going to survive this, especially with these two guys. Once they AoE, we're pretty much dead. Like, straight up. I think we're gonna die right here. I can't hit these guys. If I would have there, I wouldn't have been able to move out of the AoE of both of them pivoting towards me because I had killed an ally, and I would have been dead. Simple as. Let's get that frostbite damage back. Hit you guys. Alright. Anyways. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what I possibly could have done. I'd be interested to know anybody who actually did, like, moderately well here. Like, what did you do? Like, I'm guessing you obviously, like, re-rolled the bins of items, but what did you go for? We were offered Treasure Hunter, which would have given us some damage towards the middle there, but that wouldn't really have been enough. Like, it wouldn't have given us enough as, like, what was it? Shadow 2 would have given us. Like, you would have had that much damage without taking damage. There was definitely 2 plated belts, so you could have had 2 shielding the whole time. That would have been notable. Otherwise, was there technically enough? I'm trying to think. Was there enough, ambusher given? I don't think that ambusher really would have saved us. Maybe rolling a potion would have saved us. That's a 50-50 though. Like, I didn't at the time, like, I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but either way, that would have been a 50-50. So, I don't know, maybe people did that and they actually rolled a potion. Because I know that that sort of stuff, like that actual percentage chance, is different between runs. Because it's actually rolling a percentage chance. So even something like maybe somebody got lucky and got 2 sets of plus frostbite out of the Dial of Fate. And so plus 20 frostbite would have been a considerable difference. It would have saved us a lot of HP versus those spindlers in like the second fight. Just having a little bit of damage would have saved us HP versus those spindlers in the second fight. Like, there's... I don't know. There's a lot that could have gone differently there. That would have been different for us if we would have gotten this. We would have gotten this Quill Charm like earlier. Then that would have given us the damage that we needed to actually like kill the spindlers. If the spindlers were dead, then we would have actually been able to focus elsewhere. I don't know. Like, it was definitely. I kind of knew from the start that it was going to be a bit brutal, but I guess I wasn't expecting it to be that brutal. Maybe building Verdant was the correct option. We were given a lot of that. Also would have solved our HP issues, but also so would have Bloodthirst Blend. No, actually they changed that. It wouldn't have solved our HP issues. Yeah. you would still have had to have solved for HP. Maybe the correct answer was to go for Verdant, which would have given us like a little bit more damage. Like even if we would have gotten Verdant 2, that would have given us 3 max HP. So then we would have had 3 more HP. Which would have allowed us to survive that fight. So I guess, yeah, just simply having Verdant 2. Huh. Then of course, well, the other side of that is that if we would have taken Verdant 2, we didn't have access to any grinders. What would our build even have looked like? Would it even have been capable of dealing as much damage as we did? Because we took a lot of damage, and we were struggling to kill things. Maybe it was not re-rolling at the one augment and instead re-rolling for our bindings. Maybe it was taking restoration. I don't know, it's definitely hard to take restoration though, because I definitely wouldn't have, like, we would have traded more HP. We probably would have ended up taking more damage had we done that. I don't know, maybe that's not true. Anyways, just sitting there trying to think about what possibly could have been done differently there, because I'm, you know, just trying to learn here, and you guys are here to learn as well. So, I don't know, if you guys have any feedback on possible, you know, questions, concerns, misplay alerts, you can go ahead and put those down in the comments below. We're only page 9. Page 6 is where people start dying. Well, actually, people died before here. I'd say probably around right here is where people started dying. Like, you could have a pretty terrible run and end up with like 30 something. Maybe that's actually not true though. I guess that's something to look at. What is the possible lowest amount of score that you could have here? Because I'm guessing that a lot of people probably didn't end up healing. So then you have possibly 15 HP that you heal? I don't know. Anyways, the usual suspects aren't even really up here, except for Cathel. Cathel and Leto, they're usually up here. Yeah. Everybody's pretty much dead. Anyways. Other than that, hopefully you guys found the run entertaining or at least educational. If you have any feedback whatsoever, be it questions, comments, concerns, misplay alerts, be sure to put that down in the comments below. And until next time, I will catch you guys around.